Okay, so this is part 2 of my perfume collection. Let me go ahead and get started with my three Jessica Simpson perfumes. This one is Fancy Nights. This one here is Fancy, the original one by Jessica Simpson, and Fancy Love. Fancy Nights is my favorite one. It's very, actually quite sophisticated and very, definitely an evening time perfume. Fancy is very, very vanilla sweet. Fancy Love is my least favorite. It's kind of milky sweet, if that makes any sense. Next up, one of my most recent purchases is St. John's Indian Gold. This is actually a purchase from St. Thomas when I was there on vacation not too long ago. I haven't quite tested this one out for too long. Next up, I've got Jessica McClintock's fragrance. This is a very nice Lily of the Valley scent. Next up is Glowing by J. Lo. I actually really, really love this fragrance. It's more sophisticated than I had anticipated. Alright, moving on next, let me show you my only Balenciaga scent. This is Rosa Botanica. It has a very fresh, kind of maybe a little bit too faint rose scent. Let me move it down here. Next up, my most recent kind of a expensive perfume purchase is Juliet Has a Gun Midnight Oud. I smelled this in a sample and I absolutely fell in love with the scent. Both me and my fiance absolutely adore it. It's very long lasting, it's very sophisticated, it's very complex, and oud has become one of my most favorite notes in perfume. So there's Juliet Has a Gun Midnight Oud. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and show you my Yves Rocher fragrances. So let me start out with this one here. This is Lilas Mauve. I'm probably butchering the name, but this is a beautiful lilac fragrance. Love this one. Next up, I'm going to show you, this is Désir de Nature, I believe is how you pronounce it. It's a kind of a soapy, little strong scent, but I really like it. Next up, I have Comme une Évidence by Yves Rocher. This reminds me of the beach. This reminds me of being by the Black Sea for some reason. I really associate this with memories from my childhood. It's just an amazing scent. I absolutely love this one. And then I have So Elixir by Yves Rocher. People, I believe, have compared this one to Chanel No. 5. So I don't know how to comment on that, but that's what people have said. And then finally from Yves Rocher, I have Framboise, I believe. This is the raspberry scent. This is a very small bottle, and it's a very kind of maybe childish perfume, I would say. It smells just like sweet raspberries. And just for this video and for my collection in general, I count only my full-size bottles, and I definitely use this term pretty loosely since this is a very small bottle. But because it has a sprayer, I count it as a full-size bottle. But of course, a lot of my full-size bottles don't have sprayers, so they are full-size bottles. But for smaller bottles that have sprayers, I count them as full-size for the purposes of my collection, because I definitely have a lot more perfumes that are in rollerball form, that are just in these small dabber style of bottles that are just miniatures of the larger bottle. So there's that one. Okay, I think next, let me move on to showing you my Tokyo Milk collection. So I have Tokyo Milk's Dead Sexy. Very, very sweet perfume. Next up, I have Arsenic. This is Tokyo Milk Dark. I think that's a different line. There's that one. I have, oops. Next up, I have Bulletproof. It looks like the sticker on the bottom was just peeling off. So let me reposition it. These are definitely not expensive perfumes, but I really like them. There's just something really specific about them. They're very sweet and spicy, dark. It's really nice. And this one is Bittersweet. I've got those three. And next up, I will show you my Thierry Mugler. Why not? So let me start out with the pride and joy of my collection. This is Angel New Star. I am a sucker for beautiful bottles, so that is pretty much why I bought it, even though I already owned Angel in a smaller, the more traditional bottle that it comes in. So this is just absolutely a beautiful bottle, and of course I love the perfume. I think many people already know what it smells like. Chocolatey, caramelly, spicy, patchouli. Just absolutely beautiful. And I really, really love it, and I absolutely adore this bottle. Next up, I have the Angel Eau de Toilette. This smells different from the Eau de Parfum. It's, to me, it's less sweet and more spicy, and a little bit lighter, but still has that same angel essence to it. And then, of course, my almost finished up refillable small Angel bottle that I started out with when I ended up falling in love with Angel. So I only have a tiny bit left, and then once this is gone and then I finished up my large bottle, I will get this one refilled. Okay, and then I have Alien by Thierry Mugler. I'm definitely a big fan of Thierry Mugler fragrances. So I love both Alien and Angel. Alien is very, also a very distinctive scent. It's very jasmine-y, which is one of my favorite notes in perfume as well. Alright, next up, let me show you my Versace blue jeans. I believe this is targeted towards men, but I absolutely adore this fragrance. It's dark, it's beautiful, it's just my kind of fragrance. Love this one. Put it over there. Next up by Versace, I have the Dreamer. Love this one as well. One of my recent purchases. Versace's the Dreamer. I also have Holston. This is an old school perfume. Definitely you can tell by the bottle. It looks very 80s to me. And it's definitely, you know, an 80s scent, but I like it. Next up, speaking about 80s, I have Bijan. This is in a special limited edition packaging. It's not like the more ugly original packaging that just looks like an 8 or a B. I think they're going for a B. But it was just an ugly packaging, but I love the fragrance. I really do. So that's that. Set it over here. One of my favorites is Dior Hypnotic Poison. Very licoricey scent. Sometimes I go through phases when I don't like it as much, but after a while of not smelling it and going back to it, I really, really enjoy it very much. Set it over here. Got a cheap one, Ellen Tracy Bronze. I guess it's sort of a beachy, sunscreeny type of fragrance. Set that to the side. And let me back up a little bit. What's next? I've got Opium by YSL, Yves Saint Laurent. This is the newer formulation. I used to own it when it was in the old bottle, the old formulation. People swear by the old formulation. Honestly, they're pretty similar to me. You know, I accept this new formula. It is fine. I still really like it. Next up, we've got Penhaligon's Night Scented Stock. Beautiful, beautiful fragrance. I showed it in a haul previously. There's that. I have a Russian cologne. This is Moscow Rouge or Krasnaya Moskva or Red Moscow. Love, 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 love these. What should I show you next? Let me show you my Guerlains. I have Shalimar Parfum Initial. Really nice, but definitely kind of a specific scent. It's not for everyone. Let me try to back up a little bit more. Next up, a beautiful neroli fragrance. This is Guerlain's Aqua Allegoria line, and this one is the Nerolia Bianca scent. And I absolutely love this bottle. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And there's that one. Then I have Shalimar. Not Shalimar. I have Guerlain's L'Or Bleu. Probably butchering the name. I impulse purchased it online from Sephora, and it smells like an old sort of soap. And I'm not saying that to disparage the fragrance in any way. I just have not gotten really acquainted with it on my skin and haven't really test-driven it properly. So, but I adore the bottle. I'm definitely a sucker for beautiful bottles. And speaking of lovely bottles, I also have Guerlain's Idylle fragrance. I've worn this quite a bit. It's very nice, but it's definitely not one of my top favorites. There's that. And let me gather the rest of my collection up and show you. These are going to be a little bit random, but let me start with my Bulgari actually. I have Bulgari Jasmine Noir. Adore jasmine, so of course I had to get it. Probably in the same family, Mon Jasmine Noir by Bulgari. This is probably the oldest fragrance in my collection, and it still smells wonderful. I'm not sure, but I believe they may have either discontinued or reformulated this. Please let me know if you are familiar with what happened with this fragrance. Then I have a couple of fresh fragrances, which I'm definitely not inclined towards usually, but I still ended up getting them. This is Bulgari Crystalline, I believe. Very, very fresh. And then Bulgari, I believe this is Indian something. Garnet, Indian Garnet, yes. Beautiful bottles, but the fragrances, the scent on these two is not very long lasting on me. It's very, very fresh and summery, very easy. Okay, then I have Marquesa, another fresh, easy to wear perfume. Definitely very safe at work and, you know, around a bunch of people that may not appreciate more complex scents. Then I have Candy Kiss by Prada. Very sweet, kind of teeny bopper sort of scent. Next, I will show you. Let me back away again. This is Tea Rose by Perfumer's Workshop. Smells like a whole rose with the stem and the thorns and the petals. Very unique. For sentimental reasons, I purchased a Juicy Couture's original perfume because I really liked it when I was in college. One spring I used to wear this a lot, and I just wanted to remember it and remind myself of those times. So that's why I bought this one. I have Lady Gaga's Fame because I heard good things. Definitely not a fan of Lady Gaga or celebrity scents in general, but I just heard that it's quite a good scent, and I agree. I really like it. Then I have a very, very cloyingly sweet scent. This is Comptoir Sud Pacifique Vanille Extreme. Very, very, very vanillic. It's just very, very sweet. I smell something coconutty and tropical in it as well. So there's that one. And last but not least, I have a little Versace Bright Crystal. Again, I count this as a full-size bottle, even though it's a miniature, because it has the spray top. And that is all for my perfume collection. I had to do it this way, otherwise I would have never done it, or I would have waited another few years before doing it. I at this point have about 65 bottles in my collection, and it's quite a lot. So I probably should slow my purchasing. Most of these were bought in 2015. I guess it was my year of acquiring perfumes for my collection. And a lot of these were purchased on large discounts from stores like Marshall's or online. And then a lot of them were bought for full price on websites like Sephora or the store Sephora, and some of them from Birchbox. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any requests. Maybe you'd like me to talk more in detail about some of these perfumes. So thank you for watching.